this is the big one. GB News can confirm that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has relocated to a property on the Sandringham estate belonging to His Majesty the King. And with more details on this breaking news story, I'm joined now by GB News Royal Correspondent Cameron Walker. Cameron, thank you very much. So, what do you know?
Well, Patrick, as you saw first reported in The Sun, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has now relocated from Royal Lodge near Windsor Castle and has moved to a property on the Sandringham estate, as you said, belonging to His Majesty the King. Now, this isn't going to be his permanent home, but this is basically a pit stop, as it were, before he moves into the widely reported Marsh Farm, although, of course, Buckingham Palace is not confirming that. It's undergoing extensive renovations at the moment. So I understand this isn't due specifically, or at least Buckingham Palace is not being drawn on the fact that, of course, the Epstein files, or more Epstein files, have been released in the last couple of days. But nonetheless, the timing is perhaps pretty significant. So, of course, we knew Buckingham Palace announced in October 2025 that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor would be moving out of Royal Lodge. He would forfeit that lease where he was paying peppercorn rent on, and he had been for the last couple of decades, to move to a property solely funded by King Charles. So it would not be funded by taxpayers whatsoever. Of course, Royal Lodge is a private property owned by the Crown Estate, the profits of which go to the Treasury to benefit the public goods. But of course, the argument was that Andrew wasn't benefiting the public goods because he wasn't paying any rent on it. In fact, he was paying peppercorn rent. And of course, on top of that, he was being accused by Virginia Giuffre, for example, the 17-year-old, or at the time was 17, accused Andrew of having sex with her when she was a 17-year-old child. Allegations that Prince Andrew has always denied this, of course, on 3 separate occasions. Andrew, since then, we have seen, haven't we, Patrick, in the last couple of days, that photograph of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor on all fours, and then his brother, Prince Edward, only 6-7 hours ago, was essentially kind of ambushed by a journalist and asked how he felt about the latest tranche of Epstein files, and says our thoughts are with the victims, perhaps showing the contrast between working members of the royal family and Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. But nonetheless, as you're seeing on your screens now, with the Sun's front page saying that Prince Andrew has been booted out of Royal Lodge, GB News can confirm that is the case. He is currently now residing in Sandringham. But if we do see him in the Windsor area, in the Royal Lodge area, either riding the horse or for a separate private appointment over the next couple of weeks, I'm told we should perhaps expect that. But he is 100% moved out of Royal Lodge and is now residing in Sandringham before he moves into the his main new Sandringham residence. So a significant step this evening, Patrick.
Yeah, look, Cameron, thank you for this. Look, I might be about to ask you a question you don't know the answer to, so I'm sorry about that in advance. OK, but what do we know anything about this potentially more permanent property that he could be getting? Like, kind of size of it, I'm thinking, that kind of stuff. Do we know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's significantly smaller. It's basically Marsh Farm is what the property is called. Buckingham Palace is refusing to comment on whether that property is accurate for security reasons, but it has been widely reported that Marsh Farm is the property in question. The reason we know that is because newspaper journalists have had people basically stationed outside that property for a number of months now, and we have seen over the last couple of weeks security cameras being put up. We have seen big privacy fences being put up as well. But Royal Lodge, Patrick, a 30-room mansion, this by royal standards, significantly smaller, not many bedrooms, is a bit of a dump at the moment. Of course, I'm sure by the time Andrew moves into it, it will not be a dump. And I think by anybody watching this programme standards are going to think, well, it's still a pretty big property, pretty big garden, pretty big house. By royal standards, this will seriously be a blow for Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Of course, it's been reported that he is not happy with the property and thinks it's pretty pokey. We can't confirm that independently here at GB News, but it wouldn't surprise me if Andrew thinks that is the case.
Wow, Cameron, thank you so much. Really appreciate you popping up for us here and giving us all those breaking lines. There's Cameron Walker there, as GB News' royal correspondent. Right, OK. Welcome back to Patrick Christie's Tonight. Let me give you what is quite a sensational set of front pages, actually. The Sun, they go for Princes of Darkness, disgrace of Epstein pals. Now, this is shamed Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been booted out of Royal Lodge to a new pad in the dead of night. Mandelson, of course, is going to quit the Lords. as cops launch a full criminal probe. The Telegraph, Brown accuses Number 10 of a cover-up. So the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown goes to war with this Starmer government over Mandelson's leaked emails. Yeah, I mean, he's questioning why... apparently why Starmer failed to launch an investigation last autumn. Well, we'll get into that. It's a little bit of Labour civil war again, isn't it? The Guardian, the Metropolitan Police investigate Mandelson over alleged Epstein email links. The Prime Minister, on the front of the Independent, the Prime Minister says he let his country down. He's talking about Peter Mandelson there. And the Metro, oh Lord, Mandelson goes as Epstein crisis grows. Let's bring up the front of the Sun front page, actually. So, Will, there's two big Andrew developments tonight. That he's been booted out of Royal Lodge in the dead of night. He's got a new pad somewhere, which I've seen pictures of online, and saying it's incredibly small. There's no room for any staff, and apparently might not even have a garage, as he would probably call it. So,
world's smallest violin playing just for him.
Exactly. And apparently Thames Valley Police are examining claims involving him and Epstein, and whether or not there was a woman delivered to him. Now, I will just say before we have this discussion that no doubt Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor will deny vociferously any wrongdoing, and there is no implication of guilt in anything that we are saying in these discussions. However, those are the two big Prince Andrew developments tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is the end of it either. Keep in mind that he was a trade envoy. He was actually in an official role for the United Kingdom when a lot of this stuff was going on. If more information is to emerge, which could potentially be seen to be, illegal in nature from Andrew, you could very well see a case against him being brought that he was, misbehaving whilst in an official capacity working on behalf of the United Kingdom. So I don't think this is anywhere near the end of it. No.
OK, I am just hearing, actually, we'll go to him in a second, but apparently our royal reporter, Cameron Walker, has some new lines on this for us. We're just working on getting him up at the moment, so I think we are going to get quite a big scoop here from Cameron in just a second. Whilst we wait for Cameron, let's go to Esther on this now. The latest Prince Andrew developments, sorry, I keep calling him Prince Andrew, you know what I mean anyway, on this booted out of Royal Lodge.
They call him the Princes of Darkness, yeah. The two of them are that. Well, I have to say, Epstein did document everything really well. I'm looking at some of these photos and they look to me as if there were hidden cameras in the rooms.
They were.
Certainly Mandelson wasn't posing in those underpants like that for a photo, was he? So, I mean, I'm wondering what else is going to come out. What else are we going to find out about? And that's why I think King Charles was right as soon as he immediately thought what could happen. He got rid of his titles. He's now moved him out in the dead of the night. So I'm wondering what other bombshells are about to land.
Well, on that note, sorry, Jonathan, before we go to you,